How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I'm going to go and do this mission called Means of Production, and just have a general talk. There's a little bit of a mission really afterwards, clearing a landslide. Someone was asking in the comments like what I'd recommend on which things to clear and all that. Basically, for this mission, I've got to go and take a cargo container to the sawmill, and I actually thought I had to take 2 cargo containers. It's because if you look in the list, it's got 2 highlighted there. So I'm going to grab one from that warehouse that I unlocked. In fact, sorry, it's the free side that was already unlocked. And there's 1 cargo container there, kind of off the side of a bridge. So even though I'm going to take 2 cargo containers, it makes no real odds, because for my own personal preference, I'm bringing the Dan. I managed to get it packed on the ramped flatbed. This is the setup I just fancied running. And even if I knew I had to only get 1 cargo container, I would have gone and got the one off the bridge. I wouldn't have got an easy one from the warehouse. So yeah, it makes no difference really to the footage I'm going to do. I just fancied taking this Antarctic one because I just wanted to see how well it performs on this map. I know it's been pretty handy as far as like the Death Ice section when I was doing the Cosmodrome mission. And when you actually get to the sawmill, I remember when I originally went there just scouting different missions, so I've got them all activated and everything. Yeah, trying to get, there's like some seriously dodgy death mud and everything as you go down that way, so I kind of figured maybe this thing, it's got pretty massive tyres, all the rest of it. I just fancied seeing how it'd do really. So yeah, this is the setup I'm running. I got of course got my goddamn horse for a vehicle with me. I've got the sideboard, and yeah, I took a ramped flatbed. Strictly speaking, I only needed, say, another 2-slot trailer, but then I wanted to carry the Dan like this instead of winching it behind me. And yeah, like I said, in general, someone was just asking like what would I recommend as in which missions to do and landslides to clear and all the rest of it. And well, I've got to say for a start, like obviously to a degree this is just my personal opinion. It's not like my word is the final word and it's correct and all the rest of it. Like obviously do whatever you feel is best, but then I suppose the way to come to that kind of conclusion, like I'm doing this mission now simply because one of the rewards for completing this is access to location, which means I'll get access to the sawmill, which I'm assuming, to be honest, it's pretty stupid because I didn't even check after I completed it. I'm assuming I can get wooden planks and that. I might have to take logs there and do all that, but that should be all the wood sorted. So as far as like prioritising which missions to do, I mean landslides and roadblocks are definitely high on the list because that now opens up various different roads and different route options. Yeah, then say the second priority for me after that is anything that gives you access to location, access to gateway, all that kind of stuff that unlocks something that's a bit more unique than just money and XP. So like I said, in this case, it's yeah, I mean for this map I've already done Erskine River. There's 4 bridges you need to build, and I believe 3 roadblocks, but to be fair, 2 of the roadblocks you don't really need to do. I think one of them was called like, oh sorry, landslides, like landslide to the pathway or something. You don't really need to do that one, and you don't really need to do the landslide to the quarry, because that road that you're essentially unlocking is such a terrible, slow, painful terrain kind of road that it's never going to be worth going that way. I'd rather go the long way round than go that way. It's a bit of a shame though, if you look at that, it's like my Dan started tipping almost from a flat surface. It's like once it started going it just wouldn't stop, and that was it. To be fair, the Dan, it was a little bit wide, like half the wheels were sort of hanging over the edge of the trailer, but I was stubborn enough to get it on there eventually and get it packed. And I thought I'll take it as far as I can. At this point I know I'll just winch it along behind me really, which like I said, now I suppose I only really need a 2-slot trailer. Well, in fact, I only need 1 cargo container, so technically I don't even need the trailer, but obviously I didn't realise at this point. Well, I can see now in the top right that it says 0 of 1 cargo container, but because it had 2 of them in the list when you actually look at the mission, I don't know, I just had some feeling like if I take 1, it'll end up wanting 2, so as I said, basically I'm going to quickly nip into the warehouse and grab 1 cargo container, so that's only like an extra 30 seconds to a minute out of my way. The cargo container that's kind of abandoned on the landscape, that's the one I would have gone for anyway, so yeah, it doesn't make any major difference. This thing, to be fair, it's well, particularly that it's still not got chained or anything, it's wheel spinning quite a lot on this ice, so it's bleeding a good bit of power there. I didn't remember by this point though, I haven't turned the engine on the Dan. yeah, as well, like I said, just back to like tidying the map up. I mean, as far as this one goes, I believe like the bridge. Oh god, I've got to try and remember what they're all called. Well, bridge to the sawmill was, I believe, the second bridge I built. It's the bridge like the other side. As I'm going up this hill now, it's the bridge to the right of me that I would say is the best bridge to build. That basically connects this little island with the warehouse on it to kind of like the main island, all the rest of it. So that's one worth building. That also makes it a lot easier to take the metal beams then to the other two bridges, which are kind of like nearer the bottom of the map, nearer the first watchtower. And that kind of opens up then a complete route all the way to the Cosmodrome entrance and stuff like that. And then on Cosmodrome, because you've got a warehouse on Cosmodrome that's on the other side of Cosmodrome, so you're going to need to unblock 2 roadblocks on that map. But there's a warehouse with unlimited metal beams, and also the oversized cargo, which you're going to need for a few missions. Like there's one mission I nearly did tonight where I've got to grab an oversized cargo and bring it to this map, Skull River. The reason I didn't do that in the end is like I was clearing a few roadblocks, unlocking like access to location kind of things. So here I am at the warehouse. As I said though, you don't actually technically need to do the warehouse trouble mission to get a cargo container from here, and you can just do this mission the easy way. You can ignore the cargo container that's kind of abandoned off the side of a bridge and just grab one, because the cargo containers from that warehouse are unlimited, so you're not gonna like use it now and then realise that it would have been handy to have later on. And it just quickly, that's why I'm bringing Dan as well, because he's got the crane, so I can pluck that cargo container that's like sat in a river off the side of a bridge. You'll see now though, I get a little bit, well, I mean, it's sort of, I know it is part of the game, but I get a little bit trolled. These bloody slabs I'm driving over now, they've got, they're almost like invisible hitboxes that are sharper than they appear. So instead of the Dan just bumping up it, it absolutely hooks on it, even with its wheel. Put so much tension on the winch that it just kind of flipped me over to the side. Now, I could have just quit and reloaded the game, and it crossed my mind. You'll notice though in the footage my loaf, even though he fell sideways, he got back to his wheels. So I used the loaf to drag the Antarctic kind of out of the ditch. I was just seeing if this would work, if I could leave her on the trailer. It was just out of curiosity at this point. Again, I've got the Dan with me, so that would be the obvious option to go in and do the rescue with. Although, you'll see in a little bit, just coming up, like, there's a... Yeah, again, it's just... If things were the way they used to be, it'd be a lot more fun. I tried to flip the Antarctic up, it kept sliding along the road, I think partly because it's an icy road as well. There's nothing for the tyres to dig into, so instead of trying to get back to its wheels, it just slid along the road. So I started bringing this in, and it was kind of to prove something to myself, and I've got the footage for it. Back in the day, these cranes would not fully lift a vehicle off the floor, but I could probably lift it from the front and get its nose up off the floor and all the rest of it. You can see now, they just haven't got the guts at all. It throws your truck around, like, you just can't do it. I was even trying to retract it to the shortest length possible. Like, it's just not got anything. I'm kind of winched to the bottom winch, so in theory, if this crane was strong enough, I should be able to start lifting it up, and then it'd just kind of swing back round to its wheels, because my winch point is off centre. So now I start driving in here to try and winch it. Basically, I want to try and winch the nose towards me now, because then the truck will be lying slightly downhill, which will make it more favourable to flip it, particularly the fact that there's all this black ice. Look how insane this snow is. The Dan got, like, instantly stuck pretty much. Just dragging the nose around to the edge now. And again, just quickly, while I was on Cosmodrome, I unlocked, there's a roadblock right near the garage. You want to get that done fairly quick. And then there's another one like halfway round the road, which I've got a little bit of footage of coming up after this. And then that frees up the entire Cosmodrome map. I've looked through Cosmodrome, there's not really anything else now that I need to do that says like access to location or anything like that. But I can now, I've kind of prepped both those maps. The reason I haven't got, like, I was going to do a bigger mission tonight, but as well I not scouted Cosmodrome, but I went round and collected every mission on Cosmodrome and, what was that other bloody map? Northern Aegis installation. So yeah, I spent a lot of the night just getting that, but for me personally, making videos, I now can see every mission. Like, it just helps me kind of know what I'm going to be doing content wise in the near future. I suppose I got pretty lucky there as I was winching the Antarctic round. It sort of just started slowly going back to its wheels, partly to do with like the way the trailer was dragging. This was me trying to get my loaf rotated, because the rotation of the cargo is super slow. Going like a madman trying to get it in there, but that's what she said. We got in there pretty quick though. Loaf loaded. A little bit of a sketchy load, but it'll do. Getting packed again. I was cutting little bits out. I didn't want the video to be too long. It was originally going to be about 18 minutes, and then I added that other landslide bit in as well while I was at it. See, that's one of the drawbacks there. You can see just the sheer, like, as I'm going down that hill and not accelerating, I believe like the weight of the trailer and that is causing me to kind of jackknife it. Obviously compounds it really with this truck because it's articulated rather than just steering. But even if you've not got articulation, it'll still push your back end and you'll start to like understeer and go one way or the other. No idea what I was up to there. So we're nearly there now though. In like now what I could do if I'd known that I only need one cargo container is swerve off to the left, and that's where the sawmill is. This just shows you then another slight disadvantage with the lack of chained. As I'm going around here, I don't even really know how that's working because I don't believe the Dan is pushing the trailer, but either way, it kicks my back end out, and that's that. This is a tiny little bit up the road. You'll see why in a sec, because as I'm driving around here, and again, if the cranes worked how they used to, I would have done another rescue mission now. You can see just at the bottom of the screen, the Azov starts to tip, it all goes, and I was like, nope, save footage, quit the game. And I load up here where I just jackknifed in the Antarctic. And basically, I'm going to leave that there, and I'm just going to send Dan in on his own to grab the cargo and bring it back, because, yeah, I don't really... There's no point in the end. If the Antarctic's going to tip on this section, then, yeah, if it can't make it to the cargo, I'll bring the cargo to it. And to be fair, if I was driving the Antarctic, I probably could make it over that section. It was, yeah, more that, like, I'm towing it, and it's one of them, innit? It's the computer trying to drive it. Good luck with that. Thankfully, the cargo container's only just up here. Here's some more of this crazy ice that's kind of buried in the road. Which again, Dan's definitely one of the better trucks in the game. Like, it's always been a beast really from the start. It was when I did the review on this, I kind of didn't like it, and then by the time I'd finished doing the audio for the review, I'm sure I said at the end, like, well, it's kind of grown on me a bit, to be honest, even in like the time it took to make and edit that video. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty solid truck. It's got a bit of a fat chin on him. There's definitely a lot of weight up front for only one axle and set of wheels to be supporting, but other than that, yeah, it is a good old beast. Got one of the better horns in the game as well, which is a little bonus. This is another one of those little bridges that actually flexes with the weight, which again, yeah, it's a cool little detail. I like that. For what it's worth, doesn't really matter, but the cargo just phases through the bridge. It has no hit detection as far as like cargo and the bridge is concerned. Just kind of sandwich it on my roof like that, pinch it down with a crane. I don't particularly need to, but I just, yeah, less chance of it flying off. I've still got the winch, but like the crane cable on it at the minute. But yeah, I suppose back to like which, you know, order to do everything. One of the big things is you need to look at each map and decide like which route do you think you would enjoy, what route do you like the look of, because there's no point in freeing up, if I say, oh, free this route up, but then you never go that way anyway. So it's one of them, like everybody kind of has their own preferences to a degree. I mean, like particularly on Cosmodrome, the one I clear later on in this video, it probably makes the most sense because it just, like I said, it opens up a main road, so you can get from the left-hand side, or sorry, the right-hand side of the map to the left-hand side, without doing like the route I did the other day on like the Cosmodrome exploration video, which isn't too bad if you're off-roading with the Zix or the Tatrin or whatever. But when you're gonna have trailers full of cargo, I really would not enjoy doing that. Yeah, the same route I had to use while exploring. So again, this death ice completely locked me in place. And again, it's not the end of the world, it's just like, I don't know, can we not have one truck that can just get over it? Like, it just takes all the challenge out of it, because there is no challenge, it's just super OP ice that locks you in place. But I'm still holding out a little bit of hope that that might be a bug that was kind of broken during the Phase 4 update that they might fix, because I'm pretty sure they did fix the ice at some point. It was trollish at first in Lake Coved and Amandra, but months later, probably even after Phase 3, but I'm sure at some point it just felt a lot better. It felt like you had a fighting chance if you, yeah, had the patience and, yeah, but not insane amounts of patience to the point where you'd just be, it's not logical. Like, sometimes when you get stuck on this game, you're best off just recovering to the garage, because you might only be a 5-minute drive away, and if you're going to spend 40 minutes trying to crawl out of ice, then there's no point. I also, yeah, just while I remember, I had a little go of it earlier. I was doing quite a lot of things, so I didn't really get the footage with a video in mind per se. It wasn't very tidy footage, but Fox's mods, like Fox CRF 450 Rider, who does like the Azov Iceberg and the Twice Twin Steer, like some of the best mods in the game. They've finally approved his Derry 4520, so like the Derry that drives me insane, like the stock one anyway, the one we get in game. Yeah, there's finally a Fox's mod version of the Derry 4520, and I've drove it, and yeah, it was very nice, very enjoyable. It's now, it feels like you would have expected the Derry to feel, basically. Being as it is like one of the most expensive trucks in the game, you assumed it would kind of be king of the game. Now it feels like, and it doesn't feel insane. There is an element of like, if you let it wind up high enough in the auto gears, it's motoring along pretty quick, but I had it in the fastest gearbox. You can always lower the gearbox. But he explained it last time with the Azov Iceberg, that to make it feel normal at the low end, it's inevitably going to be a bit OP at the top end. But again, if you just put lower gearboxes in high range, it's got a very nice pace that I would argue is very realistic, real world wise. Yeah, it just feels pretty good. At some point, I'll probably do a review on it, and that reminds me as well. In fact, I'll have to see if I can do one of those like voting things on the YouTube community tab, but I'm going to do another review video soon, so let us know if you're more interested or which truck you want. I've done the 605R, so I suppose it's between that new little Sentinel Scout, which I'll be honest, well, we'll see. If it wins, it wins, but I'm not desperate to get a review out on that, because I've got a gut feeling it's a Scout, if you know what I mean. It's going to be within the realm of other Scout. I've drove it as well, and it doesn't feel like it's anything beyond what we've already had with Scouts and that. But yeah, there's the Cat CT681, the, what do you call it, the HX520, or that GMC, is it 8000 Brigadier, like the DLC truck. So yeah, I'll see if I can put one of those vote things up on the community tab, but I'll be doing that yeah, pretty soon. That's kind of quite high on my list now. And then yeah, soon obviously I'd like to scout that Chimcharuski map and get a video on that, but after that I'll kind of get on with cargo. Again, with the Chimcharuski map thing, I'm not that worried about getting that like in the next day or two, because I've got the mate. I mean, we've got this one explored, got Cosmodrome, got Northern Aegis installation, so yeah, in the next week or so I'll probably get it done. You can see, I mean, this is literally why I brought this truck. I was curious to see if it'd be able to drive through here, and sadly no, it just, everything locked me in place again. I was using the winch on that telegraph pole. Fortunately, you can kind of see a load of trees dead trees along the left-hand side as well. Just trying to get my nose close enough to this telegraph pole so I can winch from my middle winch point. Because again, this thing's articulated, so as I'm trying to turn to the right, but I'm winched to that on the left, it's pulling my nose round to the left, whereas if I winch from the middle, it now frees up my articulation, and I can kind of at least start steering the nose towards the right. And it is what it is. I mean, this little section, there's stuff there you can winch to, but yeah, they've, to a degree, they've gone so over the top. There's no challenge to it. Stick winches on everything and pull yourself forward. It's a little bit rinse and repeat, really. But again, it's only a little section, that bit, really. It's not like, at least the whole map isn't like that. Well, and some of them. Well, that Northern Aegis installation, like, making the, restaging the exploration video made it a lot nicer to drive than the first time I did it. It was pretty horrific. After that little section there, you can see you start to pick up now about to normal speeds. This is where the Antarctic's pretty good in this sort of mud, because I'll be willing to bet there's quite a few trucks that'd still be crawling pretty bloody slow there. That's probably still like a good super mud level. And then yeah, this is the sawmill, which yeah, it's sort of a little bit out in the middle of nowhere, but I can't remember if you can transfer like wooden planks and stuff over to that warehouse. Not that it really matters, but I was going to say, if I ever need like 2 wooden planks, I might just arrive here with 1 or 2 ramped flatbeds, get like 8 lots of wooden planks, and then just get it back out of this little mad section. But there it is, not a whole lot of money. To be honest, I can't really see because it shrinks the screen, but the point is it's access to location, so I now have this. It's another thing to fall back on instead of like trying to scout all over the place for various warehouses. That warehouse, trouble warehouse you unlock, I believe that does have some wooden planks in, but only a limited amount. And then this is on Cosmodrome. That's the roadblock. It's one of those tree roadblocks that I'm heading towards now. So I'm starting from the garage. Again, this is like, I didn't really edit this, say, properly, so to speak. We're just going to have a little drive there. And yeah, again, I'll show you afterwards at the end. It'll the road it kind of unlocks and allows me now to get cracking on, I believe, some of the contracts as well on Erskine River. Like I said, there's one place, starting the power station on Erskine River, and it needs, is it 2 or 3 metal beams and an oversized cargo. And I've already used all the metal beams now from that warehouse, trouble warehouse, because some people obviously did that mission the hard way. They got the metal rolls, they had to take them to the factory to turn them into beams to build the bridges, and they didn't realise that they can get the metal beams from that warehouse. However, I believe I've now run out of those metal beams, and I now need metal beams for other things, where I'm either going to have to go to the other side of Cosmodrome or do the whole metal roll thing. So to a degree, they made life a little bit harder for themselves in the beginning, but in the long run, they should still need those metal beams for things, and they probably will come in handy eventually. And yeah, sorry, when I just left the garage, there's one roadblock I've cleared, which was a pretty easy one. I believe I did it the other day on the live stream, and that's the one I'm heading to. And you can see that farm to my right. The reason I mention that is I kind of edit it out a little bit here, because at the minute I'm just driving to this roadblock to see what I actually need to do. I've not got the mission before, so I don't have a clue. To do it, you need 2 service spare parts from this farm that I'll be driving right past. So long story short, I just edit, like, you know, driving there and back out, and I just splice it all in so it's just like one nice neat journey. Again, I didn't want the video to go on silly long. Seeing on this sort of road though, this 6605R's like alright. It's on the what was I on? I think it was on Erskine River. There's a lot of black ice roads on Erskine River, but there's also a lot of bits on Erskine River where it's a bit free flowing. And this thing's obviously only got the advanced special, so again, I prefer the Dolphin, I reckon, on the Erskine River, because you can make use more of the high range. Yeah, I need 2 lots of service spare parts, so that's where I just edited it. I'm joining the same bit that I just cut out, and we're back on the same road going down to the yeah, the roadblock. And I believe for the most part there's another as well on Cosmodrome. I'd recommend down near like over to the left hand side of the map, there's a mission called Old Bridge, which if you do that you'll get to build a little bridge quite near to where that railway bridge is, the Bridge of Lies that I was on about. So at least that now covers that section of the map, and yeah, it's making things like a lot easier really. And for the most part I like this system of like the roadblocks and that. The only one I didn't like was that Northern Aegis installation, because I barely got on the map and I'd already hit 3 odd roadblocks, and it's like, for Christ's sake, game, give me something. Like, at least let me get a little bit into the map before you just block in every direction I can go. But it is what it is. Knowing what I know now, I know how to kind of avoid most of them. I believe though on Northern Aegis installation there's no warehouses or anything there. All materials, I believe, have to be brought in from outside. So yeah, it's just a big pile of sticks again. Doesn't really look like that one will be too easy to winch through, like I did with the one the other day. yeah, it's not a lot of money. I believe, was it 2,800 or something, less than 3 grand. But from the garage, I can now go along that road to there, follow the road down here, join that one, and that warehouse at the bottom there. I just kind of, again, apologize, it wasn't the cleanest footage, but yeah, I've now got one nice sweeping road across the map, basically. And this just last little bit, I was messing around, I was driving along, collecting missions. I was going to just drive past this, I was like, hang on a goddamn minute. That's a loaf. We've got to go in, boys. It turns out I already had this mission, but I didn't realise I did. I think the other half of this mission, because there's kind of 2 bits per mission, is in the garage. I didn't really want to drive the truck down there, because if you look, there's a load of broken logs, and it's probably death mud and death ice, so I was like, well, there's only one thing left to do. Just send in the horse. Build them revs up. I was like, just line it up, make sure I land in that yellow square. He's going for it. Bam. I mean, he did eat the ground with his face a little bit, but you see, he's goddamn professional. Get back to his wheels. Yeah, figured out about now. Thought I'd already got the mission, but the important thing is, we came to rescue a loaf. And funnily enough, I mean, I broke the ice with my face. That is a known tactic. Yeah, you can see now the loaf is light enough. He's not breaking the ice with his back end, and then I just drove to the edge here, reversed my Zix up, stuck the winch on, and we're away. Another mission collected, and like I said, I didn't have to send the Zix down and drive all the way along like the right hand side for all that ice and that. But yeah, that's about it for today anyway. That's my recommendation. Prioritise things based on if you unlock something more than XP and money. But yeah, that's about it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf, and I'll be back soon.